Right then, welcome to a very special Man in the Van. I say special because obviously lockdown, I thought I'll knock these on the head for a while because we can't get out. There was me being optimistic, thinking, oh, it'll only last a couple of weeks or whatever, we'll be back to normal. But obviously we're not. So I have resorted to doing my next Man in the Van with the guy I had booked in my mind next to do it when I saw him at an event. Couldn't get to an event. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steven Clarke is joining me for this first Man in the Van from a Zoom meeting, but I'm still sat in my van outside the workshop. Before we get going, yeah, hold on, before we get going, got to give these a shout. There we go. Relaxtorace arm pump. When we do actually get back to riding, I won't tell you what I've been using that for in the meantime. I'll leave that to your imagination. And of course, FXR. So, Clarkey, before we get going with this, it's a lovely summer's evening. As you know, or you might not know, I've got Nuno Laniera lives down with me, and he's obviously done some photos of you down in Spain. Nuno, just stick your head in the door quickly, Nuno. Why not? You know, he's keeping me well stocked on factory vintage cider. You gotta get in.
Hey, Chico.
There he is.
You all right, mate? How you doing?
So
where's my beer?
I'm sure you got plenty back there. So this could get messy. I've already had a glass of wine, lockdown and all that. Right. Are you going to cook or wash up or do whatever he does? He's Portuguese. He lives like a hobo, but he loves it. Right, Clarkey, I've been wanting to catch up with you for some time. I'll tell you why. Mainly since you came back to the UK and all the news came out that he was going to be riding for DT and all that, because I love your story. You're a bit of a journeyman, but you've achieved so much. So let's go back to the very beginning, because I mean, how did you get into this? Because the old man, did he used to ride?
Yeah. Back in the day, my dad and my uncle used to ride together. They had like old Makos and stuff like that. They used to share a bike, and then I guess whenever I was born, my dad was pumped that he had a little boy who didn't like football. And he always said to me, buy me a bike whenever I asked for one. But I was never that bothered. I was just in school and everything. And shortly before my 7th birthday, my uncle told me to ask him for a bike. And it's just been pretty much a snowball effect ever since. Walked out the door, got on a KX60 automatic, and then haven't looked back yet.
So other than your old man having an interest then, there was no other family tie? You didn't have cousins that did it or anything like that?
No, yeah, just my dad. He rode a bit of MCA for club meetings and stuff when he was, back in his prime. But it was never anything serious, no. And to be fair, for me, it started off as a bit of a hobby as well. We just go riding on the weekend and met some people at the racing. And Adam Chatfield came along. And then he was obviously at the time going to America riding and stuff already, because he was rapid from like 65s, wasn't he, back in the day as well.
Do we have to say that? Because you
got to give him some credit.
He'll watch that, and you know what'll happen. He'll start texting us saying how good he is.
Yeah, well, no, and we went to America with him for just a little couple of weeks holiday. We did like a week of training at Millsaps, and then did the Florida Winter, the Minios, and just fell in love with it.
What year was that then?
Started there. That was 2001, like November of 2001. So that was 19 years ago, nearly, innit? Long time.
It's a trouble interviewing you youngsters. You're like, 2001, you were just starting out. I was like, I was close to packing it in by that point. Blimey.
Well, not 1997 is when I got my first bike, but the first time I went to America was a few years later, 2001.
Yeah. So did the trip to America, did that plant an early seed in your head that you always kind of wanted to go back there? Obviously, you stayed in the UK, but you had inevitably ended up back there, back and forth, and spent a good amount of time there. So was it that was it just being away, or was it the style of racing that attracted you back?
To be honest, it was the training at MTF with Colleen. This was before MTF was built. It was just at her house, and she used to have about 5 or 10 people. But Chatfield would go every year before Florida race, because obviously he was in Texas and, traveling over, just go and stay for a couple of weeks. And just seeing how much I improved in that 1 week. We ended up going back the next year for about a month. And then the year after that was like 3 months. And then by that point, they built MTF, and it was, I mean, it was peanuts for membership back then as opposed to it is now. It's like
Yeah.
close to 20 grand a person now, but I mean, we was paying like 5 grand for the full year and everything. And I mean, obviously after going to MTF for 3 months, I'd improved even more. And then by that point, got my first BYMX race win at Culham, which I'll never forget, on a small 85. Yeah, and then I mean, it was, yeah, so it was, you know, the race and everything was cool over there, but it was more the training facility. You know, sort of where I built myself.
Yeah.
Before I went there, I wouldn't have jumped a 15-foot double if you'd have put it in front of me. You know what I mean? So, learned everything from basics, clutch control, all the way up to, by the end of it, was scrubbing, wasn't me?
So looking back, well, obviously, yeah. So looking back, you really, that's a real fundamental moment in your career, because you learnt that skill set quite early on that you arguably wouldn't have learnt racing in the UK.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was literally, we went from everything from figure of eights to doing motors with no clutches, no clutch lever on, and even nowadays we do back brakeless motors. So you take your whole back brake pedal off.
I know, been there and
go
done it.
there. Yeah, so yeah, it was good. And like you say, I was probably 11, 12, 13 when I started going there, and it just taught you that, like, the best way to get good at anything is do it every day, you know. And they ride 4 or 5 days a week, as opposed to, you know, you struggle to get 2 or 3 days in over here nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, with tracks being all open on the same day and that.
So at that point, then you'd already, in your head, you already, like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a pro motocross rider. That clearly, otherwise you wouldn't been out there doing it. But what was your aspirations regards of the end goal? Was it to be like a GP rider or ride in America at that age? What was on your mind?
Yeah, mate, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. As a kid, I just wanted to ride my bike every day. I weren't even worried about the future. I think that's why, you know, being 15 and winning the Junior World Championship, everyone was like, oh, do you want to go in GPs? I mean, I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I want to go to Culham next weekend, or I want to go to Desert Martin in a couple of weeks. Or my dad will say, do you want to go and race the Junior Nations in France? Or MX Master Kids, I think they used to call it.
Yeah, that's the one.
And we'd just say, yeah. We pretty much just went everywhere and anywhere to race with everybody, you know. And then it just wasn't until I was about 16 on my first year on Par Honda, my dad sat me down and just said, look, Steven, what do you want to do? Obviously you want to make this your career and how to earn your money in your life. And he said, but what do you want to do? Do you want to go to America? Do you want to stay here? And we had that deep conversation and came up with the idea, you know what, let's go and try and do America for a bit. And, you know, I'm thankful he gave me that opportunity, because of within the first year, won Loretta Lynn's on the 250, then signed myself a Suzuki deal for turning pro, and it all went well. But yeah, I reckon about 16, when I decided, you know, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And that did work out. I mean, you know, so what was it like? Obviously, Loretta's is a massive deal. You know, I've never been. Obviously, it's on my bucket list to do before I park up on all this stuff, and I'm sure I'll get there soon enough. But obviously, I've heard enough stories about it from people who've ridden it, like Wobbles and all these other people and whatnot, and just the magnitude of what it means in America. So, you know, how did it go down over there with you winning it? Did you suddenly get like a lot more respect from the American riders you were racing? And how did the British press because, you know, I remember reading a few things about it, but at the time you didn't really get the recognition that you probably should have got over here for winning that.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying, because I think that's just because, you know, it's not so publicised over here, is it? Like, I was in America, you know, and after being there for like over a year, do you know what I mean? It's hard to just keep putting me on like the press over here when, you know, there's so many articles to do over here with all the riders, you know, and all the stuff that's going on. But yeah, over there, it was like, being English as well made such a big difference. You know, I was English, I was at the front in some of the races, so I'd got, you know, kind of a bit of a name going over there. But as soon as I won the Lorettas, it's like, holy shit, you know, because it's like the be all and end all for racing for their amateur scene. You know, you have to do an area qualifier, then you have to qualify from a regional just to Lorettas, and you can only do 2 classes. You know, it's like the pinnacle of their season sort of thing. It's like their Junior World Championship, and you know, so much pressure there.
It's huge. I mean, it's an end goal for it, isn't it? That's the thing. It is literally that one shot with the amateur thing, that's like the holy grail that you go and try and win, you know. So yeah, so that was a huge thing. I mean, there can't be too many British riders that said they've won at the
I don't think honestly, I think I'm the only one. I know Chatfield never won. Anstey went a couple of times. I think he got second. You know, and it was actually the first year that they had the Schoolboy 2 class where you could ride 4 strokes, and it was like Dean Wilson, Ty Simmons, an Australia rider, you know, like the Blake Wharton, you know, stacked field. And it was just, like you said, it did give me some respect, you know, because it kind of put me on the map. And then from there, I was straight into like the Rockstar Suzuki team. And then being English, it's easy for them to like publicise me because I'm like the odd one out sort of thing, talking with a funny accent. I dyed my hair similar colour to my hair.
What do you mean?
Days I had big.
You had a big old mullet.
Blonde afro, big old blonde afro. So no, it definitely was a big turning point, you know, because from there I started getting interest from like pro circuit with Mitch, and it was inevitably when I started talking about my Suzuki deal for pro. So that was a big milestone really, and then just went from there. And this is like a little teenager man going to race some Supercross, and it just all happened so fast. And you know, at the blink of an eye, I've done 2 full seasons, and it's like time to go back to England for a while. And
what do you mean? You're on about talking funny. You still talk funny now, or you do to me? But you know,
well, it's from Birmingham. I've got this.
It's good though.
This funky accent.
Yeah. So you're 2 years in America. Looking back on it, obviously now you know it's always easy in hindsight to have regrets and do this and that. But you know, things obviously happen, injury and whatever. But on a whole, your time over there, were you know, if you had to mark it 1 to 10, how would you feel that went? But you know, regards of bad luck, injury, and whatever, just a general mark.
I know what you mean. Well, I'm gonna have to say 8. I well exceeded my expectations. You know, and my parents, my teams. You know, pretty much everybody. The training. You know, I had my first year in Supercross. I got a 5th place at Indianapolis. Now, I don't care who you are. That's a good
huge
result on any day. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's a big result. You know, but like I said, being back then, I was only a little 18-year-old teenager. You don't really, you know, it doesn't really sink in till I'm a bit older now. Because I know if I was to show up there now, I'd struggle to get in the top 10.
Yeah.
You know, and that's nothing.
Well, I'm not saying you'd struggle. I'm just what I meant by that is, you're getting on a bit now. How old are you?
Well, 29. I'm going to be 30 in July. So yeah, you're right. I am old. I'm getting on, but. So I had the 5th place. I qualified for every Supercross my first year, and I was on a privateer team with, you know, not the best equipment, you know, as opposed to being on a Geico or a pro circuit, something like that.
Yeah.
My team had a big truck, and we had cool graphics and loads of kit, but you know, when it came down to parts and race engines, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, like my contract said. But you know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say excuses because I had, you know, good equipment and I was at every race, you know, so I wasn't short of anything ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to give myself an 8, man. I was battling it up with Porcel and those kind of guys, Stroop and Izzy and Kennard. You know, that's some big names.
And dude, you're still going. I mean, obviously Porcel went on thing, but you know, Izzy you mentioned there, you know, he didn't really, you know, his kind of career just pitted out pretty drastically, didn't it? So yeah, it's cool. So why come home? Was it just not like another deal on the table, or were you getting homesick at that point? What was the crack there?
Well, I say homesick. No, when I came home for a year actually in 2011 for Rob Hooper, and it wasn't the right time in my life. I'd just turned 21. I'd just finished like 2 full seasons of AMA, and I was missing being over there, and you know, it just was.
Yeah.
That part of my life, I don't think, you know, my results weren't that good 2011 with Rob. You know, he put in a lot of effort, as he always does, you know. And I just kind of let down a bit on my side of things, and then spent a couple of years in Australia for factory Suzuki. And then like when I was leaving Australia is when I kind of started to miss home. I was like, you know, 23 years old, ready to come home, have a bit of a family and a life, start looking at the future a little bit. So yeah, 2013 was when I actually did the Supercross again at the beginning of 2013 in America. Then came home, and I've been pretty much home since then. And that was when the turning point was. You know, I knew what I needed to do, and I was happy being at home. I'd got a nice car, I'd got a van, a team, and my own team going with the Pico Husky and everything. And
yeah,
yeah, and then it's all been fun, pretty much fun since then. I did last year I did Supercross in America as well. So I've actually done four full seasons of Supercross.
yeah.
Over the time, man. Just adds
Mate,
up,
you've crammed it. Well, to be fair, mate, you're 29. You're 29. That's the thing. If you don't have too many regrets, you've already crammed a lot in. And what I mean by a lot in, I mean, you've got those experiences where you've raced a bit here. You've raced in Australia. You've done all these things, and at the end of the day, regardless of the result, that's always a huge thing because I guess when you're in your 20s, I know because I've been there. You just think you don't really see an end to your career because you just feel good. You're young.
Great.
And then all of a sudden, it does. You're getting around the age you're getting to now, and then beyond that,
creeps up on you, man.
Yeah, it really, really does. So you've crammed in a lot there, and of course you came back, won the European Championship as well. Which, to be honest, I don't mind saying this. I think Ustream or whatever they call themselves now, I keep forgetting their new name. They'll probably pull me up on this, but at the time, other than the top few in MX2, and it arguably still is, that EMX Championship is so stacked, as in, the level of competition. You've got the factory guys in the MX2 class, but then there's like a sort of big void, whereas the EMX class is just, you're fighting for every position inside the top 20.
Yeah.
So to win that was huge.
Yeah, and well, it was like it came down to the wire as well. It was me and Bogus battling the whole season, and I had a bad round in Sweden, I think it was, or whichever one was after Sweden. And I came back and we were pretty tight on points going into Lommel for the final round. So it's deep sand, which everybody knows I'm a hard pack rider. Bogus is from Belgium, like on HSF KTM, big team as well, and. We ended up tying points after the second race. I got in the first one, I was like 5th or 6th, I think, and he gained a few points. And then after the last one, Ben Watson passed me on the last lap of the race. And if he would have stayed in front of me, I would have lost the championship by 2 points or 1 point, whatever the gap was there. And I saw the pit board down pit lane, and I made a pass on him a couple of turns from the finish. Went over the finish line. Everybody's pumped. I've won the championship by tied on points, but it goes back to moto wins. So it was respect. And that's Brian Bogus, who's gone on to there be factory Honda. He's been on all the big KTM teams, standing contracts and stuff like that. And Brent Van Donnick, he's another one that's in there who's now, he's come around about things. He's in the British Championship, and Michael Chervin. I could go on. There's like 10 of people, 10 of us, and we were all battling for wins, and we were all battling for 10th places. It was, depending on the weekend, you could be leading the first race and 10th in the last one. And Mel Pocock, he's another one that's been up there. And same thing, you just tell you that EMX class.
It's a huge thing to win. I can remember, obviously, the round in the Matterley when you won there and all that as well. It's a huge thing. So, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And now you're focusing. So you're kind of done with the GP stuff. Obviously, you can't ride EMX 250 anymore anyway. So this thing with DT and obviously with the Buildbase Honda team seems right now a really good fit for you. You've got 2 teammates that you get along with. You're on a 250 which you like riding. Obviously the Honda has improved quite a lot over the last couple of years, and certainly through that team they've done a load of development work with it as well. So it seems like you're in a really, really good place. Obviously we're all super keen to get going, and you won't be able to get going. But how was pre-season up to that point? I mean, it looked pretty good from your social media.
Yeah. I mean, it's been so, literally, I can't even tell you how easy this has been of a transition for jumping in with Dave. Ryan was my mechanic in 2006, my first year on big bikes. I was on Honda then, PAR Honda and KOM Honda in the amateurs and that. So I've had a long relationship with Ryan, and obviously being at the races with Dave, and I've had training schools with Dave back when I was on 85s, so it was, when I came home this time and decided, I tried to start a few things up, trying to get my own deal sorted. And then Dave approached me and he said, look, Stephen, we haven't got an MX2 rider, and we weren't planning on running one because we've signed Tommy and Jake. He said, but, you're probably one of the only people I would like to have on our bike. And, a few negotiations back and forth, and we come up with a deal. And like I said, it's been so easy just gelling with the team. Me and Tommy and Jake, we've all, again, I've been going to, I don't know if you've seen on Jake's social media, he's been posting all these old bikes. Yeah. I remember the KX60 from, it would have been 1998, 98 or 99, BYMX Championship, Maysmore, when he was on that 31 with the nice gold forks on it.
Was you racing him then?
Yeah. Well, I was in qualifying with him. I qualified 41st or 42nd or something like that, so I didn't quite make the race, but I watched him race.
Right, so he's what is he? He's what, a little bit older than you then, 1 year?
Yeah, I think he's like a year older than me.
We'll give him that then. So it's because he'll probably be in your ear about how on that day. Yeah,
well, to be fair, the amount of times I've finished behind Jake Nichols is more so than the other way around. He's a very good rider, and and like I said, I've been around Tommy as well my whole life. Tommy came and spent a couple of weeks at MTF with me back in the day when he was on 85s, and like I said, so just jumping in the team with everybody, it's just been so easy. I've been on Hondas the last 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So I had my own setup to just sort of bring to the team, suspension-wise, and, knew what bars I like to bring. So a few engine changes that Ryan's made from the last couple of years as well, big improvements on that. And it's just been, it was, like I said, so easy for me. And I ended up spent 2 months in Spain, doing some training, and came back fit. I was ready to race, and it was like just stopped right before we even got to the first race, and then it got called off with rain, which I think was a good decision because it would have just been an absolute mess, especially with like the talk of the coronavirus putting a stop to things anyway.
Yeah. I think that played a big influence in that meeting that was held to call off the race. It wasn't just about that. It was around the time people were like, well, we're not really sure where we're going to be going. It looks like, so, why do one round and then get everything all caked in mud. And I guess it would have given people a bit more to do on lockdown, cleaning all their awnings. It would have done that.
But no, I think they made the right decision. And I think, whenever we do get to go back racing, because there is strong talks that we are going to go racing, and if everybody just goes out with a bit of an open mind, even if we can get half of the rounds in, or there's talk about doing a couple 2-day meetings, I think that would be brilliant as well, as long as one of them's at Fox Hills.
I'm sure it might be. Yeah.
So no, it's all gone well. I mean, I've kept myself pretty quiet during lockdown and stayed at home as much as possible. I mean, luckily we've got a 5-acre field out there, and
look at that.
Go out on with the sheep. Go out there with my little electric bike. I've got like a Saron. It's like a mix between a motocross bike and a mountain bike. And been keeping up on my fitness a little bit. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks they open up some tracks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this goes for everybody in the UK struggling with the whole thing because it's unprecedented. I know some people don't like that word being thrown around, but it is. How so mentally, how have you had any, when I say low days, I don't mean you sat there with a bread knife over your wrists. What I mean is though, but have you had any days where it's kind of like got to you a little bit more than others, and you're like, oh, I'm just sick of it. I just like you're starting to feel like you're going a bit stir crazy?
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I'm such a positive, happy person anyway, and I know that. Yeah,
you are. I would give you that.
I could have 2 months off, or I could have 6 months off. It just makes that first day back on a bike. It's going to be so much better. I haven't done any riding on my bike. It's still sat there without a filter in from when I rode it about 7 or 8 weeks ago now. And I've missed it, man. I can't wait to ride and do some laps and put in some time before we go racing. Inevitably that's the pinnacle of it. We all thrive to be behind that start gate and battle it out on these cool, because I mean, let's face it, our British Championship tracks are pretty cool tracks. I've raced all around the world, and we've got some cool events like Fox Hills. I don't care what anyone says, it's one of the best tracks I've ridden around the world, whether it's hard pack or on its day when it's tacky, and those ruts are like 2 foot deep, man. You don't get much better than that with the elevation.
It's true.
Hawkstone Park, mate, it's ancient, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like my dad went to watch it when he was a kid and watched like proper, twin shocks and everything. So
well, you must have probably seen on YouTube, all these old videos popping up. You must have seen the one from way back in the 50s, a proper TV program. Have you seen that from Hawkstone?
It was like a TV, like a documentary, so a small film.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah.
And like back, I mean, if you dig up under that lump in where the mechanics area is, it's still the concrete from the first start gate. And I just stand there and look up to where the first turn is and just see how fast they must have been going when they got there, you know. No, it's wicked. So,
I'm old enough to remember that. There you go.
So you remember watching them when they was on that first
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I watched, I'm pretty sure it was the 500 GP. It was when Joel Smets was there. So that would have been like, I think, again, 98 or something like that. And they used to come under the tunnel and hit that big single there before the start straight, before the finish line, instead of doing that new S turn. And
to be fair, I think I've probably had as much fun, or maybe even more fun, watching at Hawkstone than actually riding down there. I've had a relatively good results at Hawkstone.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's hard work, isn't it? And I'm never keen for that. But yeah, the 1989 125 GP there was monumental. Healy on a 125, Trampers Parker. The speed they were hit when they used to have the proper whoops there, and they were just hitting them full chat. And the ground,
like drop offs.
The ground would move under your feet. Literally, they were just slap. Healy was just hitting them so hard, and that's like when he come over and he had all the fox gear and the long hair, and was supported by supported by Guns N' Roses and all that. It was so cool. So yeah, hopefully we will get back and get going. I mean, before you put a filter in that bike, you better check there's no mice or anything got in it. It's been parked up a lot.
It's a Honda, mate. These things will never stop, mate. They'll run through anything. I just want to get some practice tracks open up, you know, slow roll, get everybody into it, give everybody a couple of weeks of riding again, because, you know, that other than some people who've got their own private track, I mean, I haven't, so I'm going to have to just go to public tracks and, you know, I'm going to wait until they give us the green light, just that's the right thing to do, you know. So I don't know if some people have been doing motos already, but
there's a couple of tracks that have opened up or are going to open up this week. But of course, the issue is doing it right and having you know, social distancing. And excuse me. And the other argument, of course, is you know, the risk of if anybody gets injured extra. So, but you know, it's such a grey area at the minute. So I personally wouldn't. But you know, I'm not. It's not my career anymore. So it's a tough one to make a decision on. For me personally, just riding for a bit of fun, I wouldn't. But you've got to get ready for it if there is kind of any season. Hand on heart, do you reckon, you know, do you reckon we will get racing this year? I know that's what you hope for, but what does your head say?
Oh, yeah, my hand on my heart. If I was to, you know, have to put my life on it or my bet on it, I'm saying, yeah, we're going racing, because I think that, you know, we're all outside, and I get that the fans are going to be there, but I think come the end of July, sometime in August, I think everybody's going to have been on such a routine of staying away from everybody and not being stupid. Don't go all up in everybody's face unless you need to talk to them. Stand away, do you know what I mean? And maybe don't cram up against each other on the fence. You know, there's plenty of room at our tracks for the amount of spectators we get. You know, it's not they ain't the 90s anymore. We're not getting 20,000 people come to a race. So I think as long as everybody's clever about it, you know, by then things might have eased off a little bit, and you know, some outside events will be taking place. So I'm gonna say we're gonna be going racing. You know, my estimate would be like end of August. I'd say it's probably when we're gonna get out, and that's not me knowing anything anymore.
No, not at all.
That's just a full-on guess.
You'll be ready for it, I'm sure. It's like either way. Looks like you are chomping at the bit.
Literally, it is hard when you can't ride, because that's all I've done since I was a kid. But
you've been working though. You've been working because, like, you know, we arranged to do this a little bit earlier, but you're like, look, I'm working. So what have you been doing for work? You've been working for, who have you been working for? The old man or what? What's
just I'm doing a few little bits for my dad. Obviously, he's got his own company doing roller shutter doors, and I've been in and out of there since I was, you know, in my early 20s. So it's whenever I've got some time off and he's short on lads, I'm like first reserve. So you know, once everything started to be a bit more relaxed, this COVID-19, you know, I've gone out and done a couple of days, and then the last couple of weeks I've been doing my dad's renovating a house, so I've been digging up footings in the garden for a wall and doing this and slabs and picking slabs up, dropping slabs off. It ain't like no fun work by all means, but it's an honest keep. You know what I mean? My dad would give me a little drink on the side for helping him, and gives me something to do. Adds up on top of the gym workout, innit?
Yeah.
Trying to keep me a little bit more in shape.
Nothing like a bit of, just straight up hard work training. You'll be like, like Rocky and Rocky 4, just doing proper, good old manual labour. Yeah. Keep you fit.
Well, and it lights the fire a bit more, doesn't it? Because once you realise this is what other people do for a living, you know what I mean? It's just a bit of an eye opener. Because I mean, like I say, I've rode all the time and I've done heavy gym workouts, but I mean, there's nothing like lifting 2 packs of slabs from the front of a house to the back of a house. It's just hard work, isn't it? And
it is.
Like I said, being 29 now, I've already done the young kid thing where you don't think anything else is going on in the world. All you're thinking about is just riding your bike, and and when it's growing up, you realise, there is a lot more to life than just riding your bike. So if you can keep a good balance on it, it's for the best, I think,
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you're keeping busy. Mate, I'll let you get on with your evening because we're already an hour behind. You've been lifting slabs all day, you've been working hard. You probably want to just kick back, not talk to me much longer. Listen, honestly, mate, I hope you're true. I hope you're right. I hope you're right with your predictions, maybe even sooner. And we'll catch up proper round, officially round 1, for you guys. I just look forward to seeing how you get on. Say hello to your dad for me.
I will do. I made them all sit in the other room.
Yeah, you should have got him in. Get him in. Let's sign off with you. I just want to quickly have a quick chat with him and get him on here. I just want to see his big head fill the screen.
Go on, let me take it.
Love that.
Hang on, let me see if
let's see what the old boys. Let's see what the old boy's doing.
I can hear you again now. Sorry.
That's it. I hope he's decent.
As well, because you're on live.
I don't want to see him in his underwear or a onesie. Is it gonna?
We're in the van.
Hey, there he is. Look.
Yeah. How you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, sound. You've been sunbathing, haven't you?
Well, I catch the sun easy.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Blood pressure.
Your head is nearly as red as your top.
Probably. Yeah.
Running the Honda thing. Oh, good stuff. Are you all right? Oh, well?
Yeah, fine. Just getting on with it. It's help everybody can get back on the bike soon. That's the bit that's bugging me, not been having any motocross on.
You'll have to watch this later. Steven's been running his mouth on you, slating you through the entire interview. No, he's been very complimentary. You're all right.
No. We've got some stuff done over this last 7 or 8 weeks. So,
yeah.
He's just waiting to get back on his bike now. And I think they're all got the throttle hands ready to go.
They are.
Everybody. So
I've heard you've had him working, so that's good.
He's done well. I'm pleased with him.
Fair play.
We know what the sport's like. It don't last forever, unfortunately.
That's true.
Unless he has a couple of nippers and we got a grandson or 2 going round.
Don't start that.
Oh, don't start all that. Yeah, that'll probably happen. You're not done yet.
Hey, the amount of people I know that say they're never going to get a kid on the bike, and it always happens. But fair play. I never made him do it. He wanted to do it, so.
You can stand back. That's the beauty of it. Then you can just stand back when it comes a nightmare. You just hand them back to Steve. I've done my bit. Happy days. Well, look, I'll leave you in peace. We're going to sign off pissed. That's me. I'm getting slowly pissed on this.
He's on the cider.
I'm on this cider at Nuno.
I'm having a cocktail when the wife comes back.
7.4. Nuno's a bit of an expert on cider, so it's starting to taste. Yeah, gluten free as well. So I'm doing a bit.
Yeah, Ryan, the mechanic, likes a bit of cider. I always try and get him a different one that he's never seen from up this end. And the last one I took him down, that was quite strong. He liked that one.
Just make sure you give it to him after he's been tuning those bikes, all right? As you might end up with you might end up with either a rocket ship or an absolute one that just DNF on the way to the pit box.
Well, we don't want none of them.
No, you don't. Look, I'll leave you to it. I'll see you soon. Good to see you.
All
Steve?
The best, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Steve, you back there? Yeah, you will do. I'll see you soon. Right. I think that's as good place as any to sign off, mate.
Yeah, man. I think that's a wrap, isn't it?
That is a wrap, yeah. So have a good evening. Thanks for taking time out. Go easy on those concrete slabs. Don't when you're pulling a muscle.
Thank you, mate. No, yeah, we're all good. I'm all pretty much finished now. I've start back with my gym this week with like a personal trainer, Scott Probert. We're going to do some outside work, like in the garden. So he's going to be away from me, some circuit sort of things. And, I think it's time to just start slow rolling into it and have some fun, mate. And
absolutely.
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can get riding. And like you say, in a couple of months we'll all be catching up at a nice motocross meeting, hopefully with some sun still, just so everybody can have a good weekend.
That'd be good. Look forward to it. Right, go and do your thing, and I'll see you in a bit. Nice one, Steve. See you later. I'm going to sign off. Or as you just, well, I'll just end meeting, shall I? Let's just do that. Then we'll both sign off. Right, I'll do that. I'll see you at a track soon, mate, hopefully.
Cheers, mate.
See ya. See ya.